along to episode 6 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Johnny Dineen, counting down to the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. Now, before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment, share with your friends. Let us know what you think about Johnny. We're all about audience interaction, so don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. Tell us all about Johnny Dineen. Johnny, how are you? I'm a bit worried. Now, I drove in here today. I said, I'm not looking forward to meeting this man now.
Why is that?
England lost. Giroud scored. You got it wrong.
No,
you kind of got it right.
I did
and
and I
got it wrong.
didn't. But you listen, that's sport, isn't it? And that's it. Look, I got it wrong. Well, I paid out anyway, which is the most important thing. Whether you got it right or you got it wrong anyway, paying out or getting the wages is what separates winning and losing, basically. So, look, I paid out. Was it the worst beat I ever had? Not in a million years. I mean, it was a 50-50 game. Wasn't it really?
They were the better team, England.
But it's no good. I mean, they got. They never really threatened to get a goal from play. Though they got two penalties like at the same time. Do you know what I mean? They were pending on something like that. Look, they were the better team for half an hour, but France were the better team for the first half an hour. And look, when they got the goal, the winning goal. I mean, you weren't falling off the chair, so how did that happen? It was going up and down the field. Any one of the two of them could have won.
Now, tell me this, right? Earlier on in the series, you held your hands up. You said, I got Edward Stone wrong. You held your hands up and you said, I got Long Press wrong. Is Johnny Dineen now going to hold his hands up and say, I got Olivier Giroud wrong?
No, definitely not. Are you joking me, you were? Did you watch him the other night?
Did he score, Johnny?
He scored. Well, for the first 75 minutes anyway, I was watching him and saying, he's actually worse than I thought he was, right? He's actually worse. And he missed a chance before he scored. I think it was before he scored anyway. He missed a chance from 6 yards out.
Sitter.
Yeah. Shark Hanlon would have put it in, wouldn't he? He would. He would have put it in. And the goal he got was a header. He was headed the other direction. No, I'm not saying it wouldn't have gone in the other side, but it came off that clown Maguire and went in. It was a fluke. Like, he was, even though he scored, he was atrocious, and he could still be the rock that they'll perish on in this tournament, in my eyes, anyway.
Right. Okay.
I'm not giving up on him just yet. No,
You're doubling down.
No, I don't. I just fail to see how they can win the World Cup with him playing. I just think he's a big Mulliker. He's a Benteke. He's
really, does your missus fancy him or something?
No.
Seriously wrong here.
He is slightly better looking than the Shark, isn't he? I think he is.
Slightly, ever so slightly. Now, we were talking before the show, very strangely, your views on VAR, Johnny Dineen.
Well, I like the VAR.
He likes the VAR.
I do. I like the VAR for one reason, because to see that penalty, the second one they got, right? Yeah. Like, the fella that was refereeing was a shocker, wasn't he, in fairness? But no, how he didn't see that. But anyway, with the VAR, I think with the VAR you get fair play. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that wasn't a penalty, and like which it wouldn't have been 5 years ago, I'd be at home saying that's unbelievable. Like that was a penalty. We would have scored. It would have been 2-2, and I wouldn't have lost my money.
You're going with we now, yeah?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
English,
well, I was winning for the first 90 minutes. They could do what they like after that. If it was a draw, I wouldn't have cared what happened. But anyway, like what I'm saying is, even though I lost, I didn't feel robbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt like I had every chance. I got the penalty that they deserved, and they missed it. End of story.
Right.
But I would have felt a lot worse if they didn't get the penalty, and you'd be thinking, if we got the penalty,
he would have scored. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been 2-2, and then it would have been extra time. I would have won my money. But with the VAR, it's not like the GA. How many minutes do we play? How far are they losing by? You know what I mean? We'll play 3. We'll play 6. Next thing, the referee nearly has to put the ball over to make a draw. But you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I like the soccer and the VAR. The VAR comes. There's no messing. You should get the right score.
Okay.
At the end of the game. You know what I mean?
So breaking news, Johnny Dineen is a fan of the VAR. He's a fan of the VAR. Now tell me this, Johnny, it's been a quiet week. We've been a lot of snow and ice and freezing conditions. We lost a lot of big fixtures at the weekend. Your big double on Saturday, we didn't get to find out. The big Nigel Twist and Davis.
Oh, that's
double.
right, yeah.
What does Johnny Dineen do when there's no real racing? What do you do?
Well, I watch racing every day of the week. I'll be belting.
What happens when there's no racing?
When there's no racing?
Yeah.
When there's no racing, it's
bleak.
No, I look, with 5 kids, like
5 kids?
Yeah, 5 of them, yeah. Ranging from 18 down to a little nipper. So, you know what I mean? So, I never short of something to do. Saying that, I'd watch a bit of Netflix. It's about the only thing that I do that a normal person does, you know.
The Netflix,
Netflix. Very hard to start them. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it Netflix?
Get into it,
yeah. But once you start them, you're watching them and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, you say, I'll watch one more.
That happened to me with Line of Duty.
I'll watch one more. You know, I can't go to bed. You know, but I like the Netflix. I do a bit of cooking in the winter. I'd make the dinner. You know what I mean? I can cook. I can cook all right.
Right.
Now I can't do anything around the house or in a disaster.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
But you can cook.
I can cook. I could make the dinner. Yeah, not just like fish fingers and stuff.
Right, give us just one. What's your speciality? Give us one dish, right?
Sure, I could
I'm
cook anything.
I'm calling over tonight for dinner. First time in the house. What would you cook me?
Probably a roast of some description. You know what I mean? With roast spuds and that kind of stuff. You know? Yeah, I could. Like, look, it's not that hard, is it? Like, it's not. You're not Gordon Ramsay or anything. But I could cook something reasonable, like. But I'm atrocious around the house. I mean, if anything breaks, we're gone. You know what I mean? Like I could see. We have had a situation where the TV goes on the blink. You know what I mean? It's, jeez, the telly, what's wrong? Next thing, you call a fellow out. Next thing, like, there's this thing about like that much off in the back of the telly, and he's looking at me like when he puts it in, and he's looking and saying like, what a little imbecile. You know what I mean? He said, where did he get this thing from? And it's the same with anything. Like anything breaks, like if the heating goes, next thing your man comes out, what's wrong with it? I said, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's something wrong with it. It's gone. Next thing, he goes out the back. He presses a little button and he's looking and saying, I'll go away.
Where do we get this fella from?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. But
So,
anyway,
I am surprised now that you can cook.
I can. Yeah,
breaking news.
I only started it like the last 4 or 5 years, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have to do a bit of running as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all right, okay.
Well, I don't do the running. My missus runs.
Away from you.
She runs. She does about 4 miles a day, 2 for me and 2 for her. And I bet 8 hours a day, 4 for her and 4 for myself.
And with that, we'll see if Johnny can cook up a few winners. Let's get on with the show. So let's kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Scott Rutherham. Big friend of the show is Scott. And he wants to know, Johnny, what is your Christmas banker? The one that we can all unload on to pay for the turkey. Now, I don't know how much our turkey costs, Scott, but I'd be hoping to pay for more than a turkey with Johnny's Christmas banker. So
Look,
give us, what's going to pay for the turkey?
I fancy a few horses at Christmas. Like, it's very hard to pick one. It's still 2 weeks away. But my trump card looks like it's going to run in 2.5 mile bumper in Leopardstown, and it's usually the second day, isn't it? It's the last race, second day. You'd be hoping that Mullins will come up with a meaningful opponent. Otherwise, it's going to be a ridiculous price. You know what I mean? But Mullins,
he will though.
Well, he will do. I imagine he will.
Yeah.
Like, but maybe not too meaningful then as well on top of it to take him out. But I think they'll take a fair horse to beat my trump card now at the same time. And like, it's a 2.5 mile bumper, so you're probably not going to encounter a Cheltenham bumper horse in a 2.5 mile bumper around Leopardstown. I wouldn't have thought so anyway. So like, if they bring a good stayer there, which Mullins probably will, I'd fancy my trump card will beat him. No, if he's too short, like Jerry Colombe was born for Limerick, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, you know, he was born for Limerick.
Knee deep.
Yeah, knee deep is right, and big fences and tough jumping track. Like, no, again, he's not going to be. You're not inventing the wheel
He's
here.
6-4.
Is he?
6-4.
Yeah, that's a good price. If you're guaranteed he turned up, like if a fella said to me he'll definitely turn up, I'd back him at way less than that. Yeah,
Right.
I fancy it'll be shorter, worse than evens in here, but it will win Doddle the same. So they're the two I'd go with. My trump card in Leopardstown and Jerry Colombe in Limerick.
There you go, Scott. You got 2 for the price of 1. You might be able to get 2 turkeys. And our second question this week comes in from Chris Webster. And Chris says, is the opening day treble at the Cheltenham Festival, Constitution Hill, John Bon and Facile Vega, is it too good to be true, Johnny? What could possibly go wrong with the big treble on day 1?
What kind of odds is the treble now?
Well, so you're talking roughly evens 5-4, Facile Vega going into roughly the same price on John Bon. You're talking 3-1 into 1-3. So you're talking about
4
the guts of 4 to 1, 9-2.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
look,
value?
It's not value really. No, Facile Vega I fancy Facile Vega. Like, even though he's quite short, I do fancy him. John Bon is a ridiculous price now. At the price he's getting into
madness.
Like, he's too. I was looking to bet one of them exchanges and the betting exchanges. He was around 11-8 to lay. You can like, if someone is willing to back him at 11-8. So just say, is he 1-10 to turn up? So just say, I don't know what price a horse is to turn up. Just say it has to be some sort of a price to turn up. Yeah,
probably 1-4.
Yeah, but whatever. But so he's 6-5. Like, this guy is willing to back him at 6-5 to win the race. And Mullins hasn't even flashed a 2 miler yet. No. And they're going to run at Christmas. And surely one of them is going to be a credible opponent, maybe even two. You're going to Phil Dornan as well, probably, who's going to be maybe haranguing him for the lead and all that kind of stuff. Look, and not saying he can't win it, John Bond, but at the prices, he did a horrific value to me, anyway, absolutely horrific.
He is he's the weakest link in that treble, isn't he?
Oh, without a doubt.
By a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last horse is no offers, Constitution. He's actually he's 1.5, he's 2s on. That could be any odds on when the time comes, who knows,
Yeah, well, the way things are going, nothing's going to run against them.
Yeah, well, Mullins again is the only one. It's going to be Vauban or Statement. If they're not realistic opposition, there's no danger really. But yeah, the middle one is the weakling. Mullins has his
Appreciated.
Yes.
El Fabiolo.
Yes.
Dysart Dynamo. Flame Bearer.
And one other one. Sir Gerard possibly.
Sir Gerhard.
Yeah. One of them. And on top of that, his form. They're on about raving about beating Boot Hill.
Boot Hill, yeah.
Boot Hill, if that Boot Hill ran in the Grand Annual, he'd have no chance in it. None. I wouldn't give him an earthly in it anyway. And beating Monmoral, time will show that Monmoral ain't a good horse or anything like it. So he's a bit to do yet. Now
he is a very good horse.
Oh,
Just people are going to be screaming at the screens going, he's probably the most likely winner of the Arkle. We're not disputing that, okay?
But would you have your life on him that he'd be favoured in the Arkle?
I don't know.
I wouldn't
Townend
anyway.
absolutely loves Appreciated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he beats Boot Hill. Yes, he's gorgeous and he's lovely and he jumps great and the time was good in comparison to Tingle Creek. But he's still only beaten Boot Hill. The rest of them were out with the wash and they didn't even put in. The one that you fancied without drifted like a bird.
That went from 10-1 to 40-1 before
madness.
The race. It wasn't madness because it was never in it.
It was right.
Yeah, it was. The fella that laid the 40-1 never had a moment's worry, did he? Never had a moment. It was a bad 40-1 shot the way it ran, but it was never in it. It was never even put into the race. So and another horse, West Cork, wasn't put into the race in Warwick either.
No,
there was two horses in Skelton. None of them were put into either of them races. So. Look, beating Monmoral, beating Boot Hill, if Monmoral and Boot Hill ran over, they wouldn't win novice chases in Ireland. Maybe some of them horses, Yeah. So there'll be plenty of novice chases they wouldn't win. You guarantee Monmoral would not win a novice chase in Leopardstown at Christmas. Not a hope.
No,
not a hope.
No. So there you go. I did an article on this. I think apart from John Bond, it is the worst bunch of British novice chasers we've seen in my lifetime anyway. Because you take out John Bond, there's nothing. No, there's literally nothing.
No.
So we think John Bond is a very good horse. He deserves to be favoured for the Arkle at this stage, but he is a ridiculous price.
I think he is. And there's a lot of water to go under the bridge just yet. And if Mullins flashes a horse that wins a novice chase well at Christmas and then goes on and wins that race in the Dublin Racing Festival, bowls in and that,
could be favoured.
A good chance to be favoured is right, yeah, absolutely.
Could be appreciated. There you go. There's your answer about the opening day treble. And our third and final question this week comes in from Brian Murphy, and it is the hot topic at the moment. It is about honeysuckle. So, Johnny Dineen, Brian wants to know, if you owned honeysuckle, so you're Kenny Alexander here for a moment, okay? If you owned honeysuckle, would you go to the Champion Hurdle and get beaten by Constitution Hill, or would you go to the Mayor's Hurdle and go out in a blaze of glory? What do you do, Johnny Dineen?
Well, first of all, you have to see her running the next day to make an appraisal then on what she's going to do in Cheltenham on the back of how she gets on in Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. Look, I just think myself, if I owned her, I'd no way I'd go near the Mayor's Hurdle. She's done that. She's won 2 Champion Hurdles. You don't go back from Mayor's Hurdles after winning 2 Champion Hurdles. That's my reading. It'll be a bit like the Gold Cup winner winning it twice and running in the Ryanair or something the following year. Do you know what I mean? It's if she's not good enough for the Champion Hurdle, fair enough, but don't run her in the Mayor's Hurdle is a hurdy-gurdy race, isn't it? Really, I think it is anyway. It's not even a valuable race. I'm not saying we'd go for the money, but that it's an easier race. But it's like finishing. I guarantee finishing second in the Champion Hurdle is probably more valuable than winning the.
Well, it's a Grade 1. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it is. But like, what does she need to win any more Grade 1s for? She won her Acom already. Won 10 or 12. So 12. So it's 12 or 13, whatever. That's not going to make any difference to her CV, is it really? And like, I just think it's a.
So why is Henry doing this? Why is he saying, look, there's a chance. It's in the back of my mind. I could go for the Mayor's Hurdle. It's an option. It's a possibility. He was pretty definite that it's a possibility. Why is he saying this?
I suppose, look, they take the heat off the supposed match race for starters, and look, they leave off. Nowadays, if fellas pick the wrong horse or the wrong races or change their mind, their fellas down on top of them like a ton of bricks.
Absolutely, yeah, which is wrong as well.
Yeah, like when Henderson does something, they're all over him like a rash, aren't they? Like you know what I mean? When he says something and he doesn't do it, they said, you said this, and this fella's covering every angle. look, it's a possibility. I mean, Kenny Alexander isn't stuck for money. Like, he doesn't need to be running her in the mayor's hurdle for the sake of the prize money, or like her legacy is there for all to see. She doesn't need to run in another mayor's hurdle. It's an insult to her to run in the mayor's hurdle in my eyes, anyway. You know, I wouldn't run go next or near the mayor's. Like, the mayor's hurdle, like, is rarely a good race. Okay, the year she beat Benny the Doom was probably a fair race, right, you know. But she's dual champion hurdle winner. There's no need to go near the race in my eyes. Like, you'll see how she gets on in that race in the Irish champion hurdle. But if she doesn't run well in the Dublin race, that's like either win or very close second to one of them Statemen or Vauban or whatever turns up, she won't even win the mayor's hurdle anyway. So, like, I just think to get running on the mayor's hurdle with the possibility she mightn't even win it, that'd be the ultimate disgrace anyway, and no reason for it whatsoever.
So don't even think about it, Johnny.
No, that would be my reading of it anyway.
Henry, Kenny, if you're watching, don't think about the mayor's hurdle. It's champion all the way. Now it's time for Performance of the Week, where Johnny Dineen counts down his top 3 performances of the last 7 days. Now, this isn't going to be easy, because we didn't have Cheltenham, we didn't have Punchestown, we didn't have Gallop in the Shams, we didn't have much, Johnny. I have a feeling me coming up the stairs this morning might get number 3, will it?
No.
Did you find 3 first?
I did. I found three. Look, they mightn't be the same roll of honour as other weeks, but
okay, number 3.
Number 3 for me was punctuation. It won a handicap hurdle there on the Friday. It was a few unexposed horses. It wasn't a bad race now of its type. It's like it's after winning 4 handicap hurdles in a row now. It was like a mid-80s horse in the flat with Andrew Balding.
Yes.
And it went had a spell with Charlie Longston, and then they gave it to Fergal O'Brien. Now, Fergal O'Brien is a good operator. I think he's a good operator, yeah. Good, stable. They've definitely improved this horse remarkably. He's a horse that, like, is effective at 2 mile, 2.5. Good ground, and they originally thought he was a softish ground horse. He's improving, like, nicely. He's gone up another 8 pound to 129. Like, his winning isn't finished yet. It was a good race of its type, and he won it well. He was given a good ride by Paddy Brennan. I could see him winning again, and I could see him going up maybe winning another couple. Like, winning 4 handicaps in a row is not that easy. And to me, he's a horse that's maybe not going to be he's not going to be a top horse or anything like that, but he's going to be a very good handicapper, and could even never say it at the festival maybe in a race, you know, that kind of way.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Punctuation is a good horse, full stop. Number 2.
Number 2 for me.
See what I did there, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cameraman got he's laughing.
Did, actually, yeah.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2 for me was Hidden Valley Lake.
Yes.
Down in Cork. For the bulk of the race, you wouldn't have said it was that great a performance, but it did put some distance between itself and the others at the finish.
Yeah.
Like, turning in, there was 4 there. Probably, let's be clear about it, was beat at the time. You wouldn't really know which one of the other 3 was going to win. But this fella got really rocking and rolling in the last, like, furlong and a half race. Put good bit of distance, and now the other 3 were up in a heap in the finish.
Yeah, the 4 of them actually. Even one of the outsiders was up there.
joined them near the line. Yeah, in a battle for the places. But Hidden Valley, like, I never really trust Mallow Farm. I'm not mad about Mallow Farm travelling, you know. But the saying that Hidden Valley Lake has won in Naas, he's won a maiden hurdle in Naas before he came down here, and he's definitely improving. He's a good, strong stayer.
He'd stay forever.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
just keeps going,
yeah,
grinding.
absolutely. The one thing I'd be worried about him is the ground. It's probably going to be important to him. Would he be as effective in the spring? I don't know, but he's a nice horse, and he's only run twice with the Brown, but he's going places anyway. He's good, strong stayer. He's going to go to Clonmel next, where the ground will be deep. I'd say that's in around February, is it? And, like, it'd be difficult to beat there anyway, definitely. And maybe it could be good enough for definitely ever run in the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, stable previous in that race as well with Manil Lindo.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, very well sourced by Rob Atchison. So number 2 is Hidden Valley Lake, and I'm thinking, I don't know now, I haven't read your notes, but I have a feeling your number 1 performance could be from the same stable.
No, it's not.
What?
It's not. No.
Number 1 is not Arctic Brazil.
No, it's not. Number 1 is not Arctic Brazil. I went for the race, the Mayor's Novice Chase, on the same card.
Impervious.
Impervious, yeah.
Right.
I thought Impervious.
You love her, don't you?
No, I think Impervious is a good animal. Yeah, it is.
She made it into your top 3 before, actually.
She did.
At Wexford, yeah.
She did. Yeah, she did. I like Impervious, and I tell you what I like about Impervious. And even listening to the jockey after, it was interesting. It's always good to hear the jockeys talking
lovely
after.
fella, Brian Hayes,
yeah, he came across as a good old character. like he even said, I thought he was beaten turning in. You know what I mean? And Dino Blue didn't do much wrong in that race and got the run of the race and jumped well and everything.
Is she soft?
Maybe so, possibly. But she like would she have out-battled something with less ability? Maybe who knows? But she had a 3-length start in her and was going the better of the two. But I always kind of felt though watching it that if Impervious grabs her, she'll beat her. She'll beat her. You know what I mean? And she had her there's a picture on IrishRacing.com of the two of them jumping last. Impervious is actually in front jumping last.
There's also good pictures on racingpost.com as well if you want to have a look for pictures.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean I don't know. But that picture shows that she's in front jumping the last. It wasn't as if that she was like coming to grab her or whatever, and she kind of threw herself at the last.
She did. Like fair play to her. She came up like.
Yeah, exactly. And look, he even said the jockey said that she was like on her head going around all the way, like over the 2 sharpish enough 2 miles. She's going to be effective at 2.5 miles. And of the older mares, like I don't see anything to worry about in the older category. Anyway.
So she's a mare's chase contender.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, absolutely. It has course form there as well. And even the trainer said that she's a better mare this year. The jockey said he's given her a better feel, or she's given him a better feel, I should say. Colin Murphy's a good trainer. Like there's a few small trainers are very dangerous, even in the big races, and he's one of them. Like he has a CV to show that he can train horses.
Absolutely,
anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So no, I thought like Arctic Brazil won well. Okay, and
I like him now. I like him a lot. I thought
he did, but I have a feeling now. No, I'm not saying. I actually had a few quid on Arctic Brazil, but I have a feeling that Mercury is a bookie's horse. Do you know that? I thought he ran bad.
And he's owned by a former bookie,
yeah, okay. But I think that he's a horse that could get beaten in lesser company even. Do you know, he was lucky enough to be second even, wasn't he? And
disappointing horse.
He was, yeah. Like he won a bumper in the Tyestis Chase, didn't he, in Gorn, and he looked. They were all talking about him, and then he went to Limerick disappointed. I thought he was disappointed the other day, and like Arctic Brazil, I noticed he pulled and dragged, but so did Mercury a bit, you know.
And jump early, Arctic Brazil, I thought, in the main.
Yeah, ran out through hurdles and smashed out through him and that, but did win easy. But it only won a 2-horse race. That's the only thing, you know what I mean? And I suppose you could say Impervious only won a 2-horse race too, because it wasn't really in it. But
she impressed you, Johnny.
Oh, she did. I thought she was impressive. Yeah.
And she's a player in the mare's chase.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, absolutely.
There you go, Johnny Dineen's #1 performance of the week. It was Impervious at Cork. So we've heard about our performances of the week. Now it's time for Eyecatcher of the week, the one horse that Johnny Dineen will be backing next time that didn't win in the last week. So what caught your eye, Johnny?
Well, David, the Eyecatcher. Like when you say back at next time, I'm not so sure about next time, you know? I'm not so sure about next time.
Going down the line.
The horse that caught my eye was another horse ran to Colin Murphy. It ran in the race that Arctic Brazil won in Mallow or Cork or whatever you like to call it nowadays. A horse called Cadahorla.
Yes.
Yeah, it finished 5th in that race with Arctic Brazil. I thought it ran well.
Owned by JP McManus?
Yes, yeah. It's by Flemensfort. It had finished 7th to Hidden Valley Lake in its previous run in race. It's only 4-year-old, like, so it's loads of time in front of it. It maybe handicaps in a couple of runs, something like that, or maybe they decide to go for one of them races, the maiden hurdles where you're not finishing the first 4, be a shoe-in one of those anyway. You know what I mean? Absolute stonewall, and like a handicap. It's obviously learning its trade a bit anyway, and I thought it ran a race full of promise. It could just as well have been 4th or 5th. Barometer, I think, was he 3rd or 4th in the race. But I thought it ran well, and it was a race. It was a race where the first 5 were a mile ahead of the rest of them, and like he's obviously a nicely bred horse. I could see him being a pretty decent handicapper, but they could go out like. He wouldn't win a top maiden hurdle or anything like that, but he'd definitely win a country one, and he could even win one of those ones where they're the confined maiden hurdles for horses that finish in. He qualified to maiden hurdles. Yeah, qualified for those ones where you haven't finished in the first 4. He hasn't finished in the first 4, but he's running race. But previous to that against Hidden Valley Lake was equally as promising now, you know. So he's a horse that'll win races at some stage down the road anyway. Okay.
That is Cadahorla, which means what happened? Is it what happened?
What happens? Yeah. There
you go. Yeah. What happened? Well, what happened? Johnny Dineen tipped Cadahorla as his Eyecatcher of the week. Johnny Dineen, did you know that the Members Club of the Racing Post is the ultimate racing subscription? Did you know that?
I didn't actually, David. No.
And you know what you don't know either?
What's that?
You can get the first month for free. Yes, Upping The Ante viewers, you can get the first month for free. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the show, and you can get your first month for free. You can get the digital newspaper from 9 o'clock the night before it goes to the shops. You can read the paper, Johnny. Get ahead of the game. Yeah, absolutely. You can read all the top tipsters. You can read all the fine articles from all our Racing Post writers. So that's all you have to do. You can get the first month free. What's not to like about that? So it's time for what's happening this week, and hopefully there will be something happening this week. It mightn't happen in the early parts of the week, but hopefully we'll have some racing, and good racing at that, later on in the week. We're going to preview 4 races at Ascot, and 2 of those are Grade 2s on Friday, starting off with the Kennel Gate, a Grade 2 for novice hurdlers, and it could be the return of the seriously impressive Lucia.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to take part here if the meeting goes ahead. I never met about back in mares against geldings, but she looks a pretty decent mare though, and but it's saying that it's not a bad race either. You just don't know what you're running into here. Yeah. I'm looking there. There was about 4 horses there. John Janelle has a horse that won in
Utoxeter.
Utoxeter,
Nice
horse with a big long name. Like as luck would have it, or
yeah.
Chasing Fire is a horse of Ollie Murphy's, bolted in Market Raisin. His bumper form even before that, he beat Imperial Merlin, who was hosed in a few races up the north, and even the third horse. His horse belonged to Noel Feely's. He's won there recently again. There's another horse in his. Who else is in there? There's a horse of Twiston Davies, Idalco Bui or something. Bui. He won a maiden hurdle in Worcester.
Nicely done, Johnny.
Yeah.
Nice pronunciation.
And I'd say that's not the correct one, but we'll chance it anyway.
No, probably not. No.
And Gary Moore had a horse in it that won a maiden hurdle in Lingfield, won a long way.
That was impressive.
It was, yeah, it was.
That was impressive. Now, I have to say.
And these are all these horses. The 4 of them all 1 point of points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all unbeaten over hurdles. So you don't really know what you're running into here with Lucia. I'd fancy her Lucia, but you just don't know. And for that reason, I'd leave her off. She's going to be prohibitive odds in a race like this. It only takes one of those horses to be a really top horse, and you're in bother. You know, that kind of way. And you're betting into the unknown here. Really, I think. You know, maybe look, she's going to be mile ahead, and none of them are any good. But I'd say there's a good chance one of them is quite decent at the same time.
Okay, there you go. That is the Kennel Gate. Moving on to the Hod and Knoll Novices Chase, and it could see a clash between Montmoral and Thunder Rock, who is on a remarkable winning streak. Really has come alive since switching the fences. Thunder Rock. Yeah,
Thunder Rock is improving leaps and bounds. I don't like Montmoral myself.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't rate him at all.
I didn't know that, Johnny.
No, yeah, I don't rate him.
Win this though, will he not?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I wouldn't back him. No, not in a million years.
If he was 5-4, would you lay him?
But you've only one running for you, Thunder Rock, and maybe a Coon Risk. Is that correct?
Yeah, Coon Risk.
Yeah, he'll be probably better over 2.5 miles. Look, I never rated Montmoral. Even the Grade 1 he won in Aintree was a horrible race. Gaggio was second. 5 and 20 was third in the race. You know what I mean? 5 and 20 wouldn't beat Caddy Barry, would she? Like, I don't know. Montmoral ran in that race in Fontwell last year, went out like a light.
Yeah. Finished
bad third in Aintree. Horses falling around and everything. Look, I don't rate Montmoral at all. I have a feeling that Thunder Rock will beat it. Thunder Rock is improving, and I could see him.
He's not Montmoral though, is he? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about class. Like, is Montmoral not a classier horse than Thunder Rock?
But Montmoral has never won anything to suggest he's that
well, he's a Grade
horse.
1 winner.
But the Grade 1 winners, you couldn't call that thing a Grade 1 in Aintree. That's not a Grade 1 race. That's not.
Well, Your Honour, on the form book, it is Grade 1 winner.
Yeah, but it's only this year that they took away the Grade 1 status from that race in Chepstow,
yes.
And that was bordering and being a selling hurdle some years. That thing, wasn't it? You know, so Grade 1s. There's Grade 1s in Punchestown and Grade 1s either. There's Grade 1s everywhere. Like Statemen won a Grade 1 the last week. They could have had it at home. They didn't bring him outside the gate there. You know, so
look, you're taking on Montmoral. Anyway.
I don't like Montmoral.
I think you're wrong.
I don't. Yeah, you could be right, and I'd be wrong. I'll be wrong.
One of us is going to be right.
Well, that's it. But look, I don't rate Montmoral. Maybe he'll beat Thunder Rock. I doubt it.
Okay, so just to paraphrase there, I'm not sure, but Johnny doesn't fancy Montmoral, I don't think. Okay, so that is the Grade 2 Novice Chase on Saturday. Moving on to the big one, it's the Grade 1. It's the Long Walk on Saturday, and it is the renewed rivalry of Champ and Paisley Park, with Goshen thrown in there, Miranda, potentially Queensbrook. Hopefully it's on, because it will be a decent race, for all that the Staying Hurdle division is lacking an absolute superstar at the minute. There's no big bucks there. What do you like here?
I tell you, if I was looking at this race now from a a betting angle,
Yes.
I'd lay the two of them combined.
The two of them?
Yeah, because okay, you're looking at the others and you're saying, well, they're not wonderful horses, but all you need is one horse to beat him, and if one horse can beat one of them, he'll beat both of them because they're the same horse. They're basically the same horse.
Yeah.
So they'll probably be next and half an inch between the two of them. So if you can find one to beat one of them, you'll find a horse to beat both of them more than likely. So for that reason, I'd take a chance and lay both of them combined. Just say they're 2-1 each, twos on the pair combined.
Yeah.
And take your chances that something like Goshen or Queen's Brook or Botox Har, whatever is going to run in the race, can improve past them. Because like they're rising 11 years of age, they ain't setting a super standard either.
They're not, but those coming behind, like maybe Goshen, you don't know what he's going to do over 3 miles. You don't know what Goshen's going to do any day of the week.
Yeah, that's it.
But I just thought the way Champ travelled through the race at Newbury, he looked like he enjoyed himself. He jumped well. There is every chance he could probably win this again, couldn't he?
Yeah. Oh, look, there is. But what's he going to win by, David? Like, what's he going to win by? Is he
It
going to
doesn't
win?
really matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I just saying he hasn't. He's very little in hand on
Yeah, I
Paisley
know,
Park. And on some of the his form, he had nothing at all in hand on Paisley Park.
Yeah.
If you force me up against the wall and say, who would you pick in a match? I think I'd pick Paisley Park.
Would you?
I would, but I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be having
So
a
you're
lot on it.
taking on the two of them?
I would. I'd rather lay the two of them than one of them. And like Champ don't really back up wins anymore either, does he? Like as such, you know.
Just thought he looked a happier character at
Maybe
at
so,
Newbury,
maybe
but
so.
maybe that's pocket talk because he was my charity bet on the show that week. The final race we're going to look at is the Betfair Exchange Trophy at Ascot. The final race on the card at Ascot, always a hot handicap hurdle, and this year there looks to be a spectacularly well handicapped horse that goes by the name Picar for the Skeltons.
Yeah, Picar looks within off 130.
130, yeah.
Him and a horse called Monviel belong to Hobbs. He's in off 130. They to me set the standard in a race like this. But Picar's form in Chepstow's looking particularly strong now. You've Hool Gunor, horse of Fergal O'Brien's, that's won since. Time for a Tune was fourth, and Master Chewy was third, and like none of them have left the farm down.
No, ran okay at the weekend.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it probably would have won if he jumped the last hurdle properly. But he's turning into a bookie's horse too. That yoke, Master Chewy. Yeah. Look, he's the horse they have to be. Even last year, he ran against like John Bon. I like to move at Nappers Hill. You know, so
solid horse.
Yeah, so they obviously rated him when they were putting him in them races. He's the horse. Our Monviel was impressive the last day, and I thought Monviel was no good last year. I actually backed him against backed some skinny one against him one day in Wincanton, and he came and beat him because I'd seen him run one day and I thought he's a desperate horse, but he's improving rapidly, Monviel, and even the last day I didn't think he was, but he won well. He's got up £10 now, all right. Yeah. But he's the same weight as your man. They're running off of 130, and they'll have about 10-10, I'd say, in the race. Nice racing weights. I'd say one of those two will win that race.
Okay, will be Picar for me. I'd be interested in No Ordinary Joe, who I still think is well handicapped. Hasn't run in a long time, but if money did come for No Ordinary Joe, I'd be interested. But Picar, I think, for me, off 130 looks well handicapped.
Yeah, I'd go him or maybe Monviel each way, or maybe back both of them or something like that, you know. Maybe back Picar winning Monviel each way.
Excellent. But you won't be back in Montmoral this weekend?
No, not under any circumstances, or any
No
weekend for that matter.
Montmoral, I can't wait to come in here next Tuesday, stand in this very spot and say, Johnny, you got it wrong. That's what's happening this week. So now it's time for DJ versus Johnny. And we had a very successful week last week, Johnny, because none of our charity bets ran. So we got another 50 quid into the kitty, which brings me up to 500 quid and brings you up to 175. Okay, so we're going okay. We're going okay, okay? So this week, I'm going to go first. I'm going to go, hopefully Ascot will be on Friday, because I really like a young horse that runs in the 3:30 at Ascot on Friday, the bumper. And it is Favour and Fortune, that's trained by Alan King, owned by Trevor Hemmings, the familiar Silks of Trevor. And I was really impressed by what this lad did at Suddle on his debut. Now, he was nibbled at in the market. There was a very short price Paul Nichols trained favourite that won a point to point. I thought Favour and Fortune turning into the home straight, Johnny. I was going, yeah, he was kind of travelling, but he was off it a little bit. And then when the gap opened and Tom Cannon went for him, he shot through it. He won very well in the end, I thought. I thought what he did from the 2 furlong pole to the line was very impressive. I'd say he's a nice horse. Alan King was talking about him and he said he hadn't done too much with him at home. So I'd imagine there's loads of improvement to come. He does well with his bumper horse, Alan King. And very interestingly and topical at the moment, Favour and Fortune is half-brother to the Real Deal of all horses, trained by Rona McNally. So Yeah, he's got decent relatives, and I just think he's a nice horse. I liked what I saw. So my charity bet this week, no betting yet, but hopefully Bet365 will give us the best price they can, and it is on Favour and Fortune in the 3:30 at Ascot on Friday. Johnny, where are you going for your charity bet?
I'm going for Dundalk
Be
on
the
Friday.
Lord. Dundalk.
Well, it'll be on. That's the only thing I can guarantee. So I said
on.
I can't pick another non-runner. So I'll make sure that this thing actually. Well, I don't even know what it's running, but it's entered. At least Dundalk
viewers now are getting their pens, they're getting their paper, and they're ready. They're ready and waiting.
Well,
Johnny. So give us the name of this horse.
I'm hoping it runs. It's a horse called Secret Spy.
Secret Spy. Okay.
He's running in the 6:30. Well, he's down to be running in the 6:30.
6:30
in Dundalk Friday night.
Dundalk Friday night. Tell us why.
I tell you why. It's more or less a carbon copy of the race that Bold Rib. Do you know that yoke Bold Rib?
Yeah.
He's in it as well. He's also Secret Spy ran against him there only within the last 10 days, and he was obviously he was making his debut. Bold Rib had plenty chances. Has going to probably get another chance on Friday night. Hopefully he will anyway. And they backed Bold Rib off the boards into 1-4 from about 4-6. I couldn't believe how short it was. I mean, it actually stopped me from laying it Bold Rib because I was saying, should this race is over, I can't get involved here. Left it alone, beaten by an 80-1 chance. But Bold Rib is a right monkey now, a right monkey. And Secret Spy is trained by Andy Oliver. Not a bad operator, no, Andy Oliver. I like backing his horses at times, you know. And it was a nice bit behind and then swung out, turning in. You'd say it was going to finish like closer than it did. It's about 4 lengths to find with Bold Rib, but like with normal improvement from having to run, and I think Bold Rib is crying out to get beat every time it runs. I could see this fella improving past it. Like it won't be a favourite or anything either against Bold Rib. It's second favourite. I think it's a great chance, absolutely great chance to win this race.
There you go. Secret Spy, 6:30 Dundalk Friday. Get on. So each week here on Upping The Ante, we preview a race ahead of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. This time it is the turn of the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Yes, the race that opens up the festival each year. And at the moment with Bet365, Facile Vega is your 11-10 favourite. It is 7-1 Jet Powered. It is 8-1 Marine Nationale, 16-1 Irish Point, and 20-1 Bar. Johnny Dineen, 11-10, a shade of odds against Facile Vega. Yay or nay?
Look, it's very short. I wouldn't oppose it, but
should he be shorter though? Should he like? Could you make an argument this horse should be 4-7?
Geez, very short. It's 11. I think 11-10 is short enough.
But he's the same price as John Bon.
Yeah. Look, I'd favour him over John Bon, but still, you don't know what's going to come into this race just yet. Look, there is some level of opposition to him at the same time. I mean, he's only one run over hurdles in a no race in Fairy House. He's got to run again, and he can't get too much shorter. He's probably going to run. Where's he going to go to? That race in Punchestown or something like that?
Oh no, he'll go to Leopardstown of Christmas.
Oh,
Leopardstown of Christmas, Dublin Racing Festival, Supreme Novice Hurdle,
that is,
and
yeah.
Punchestown.
Okay, all right.
There's 4 wins. Yeah,
you have his itinerary mapped out.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll check him in.
Look, I think he's a good horse, a brilliant horse, probably in all likelihood. I think he'll probably win it. Would I back him at 11-10? Not in a million years, but not now anyway. Like, I'd rather bet 6 or 7 to 4 on him on the day, maybe, or closer to the day when you know, than bet him 11-10 now when there's so much to be seen just yet, and we still have to see him in a meaningful hurdle race at the same time.
And as well as that, I suppose the time, he looked visually very impressive at Ferryhouse, but the winning time, I think it was it 6.9 seconds slower?
I don't even look at times that don't interest me as regards looking at, like when a horse is going around and having a school, how can you time a horse? You know what I mean? I think it is anyway. And sometimes the distances don't be correct or anything. Anything could happen, couldn't it? Like, you know, rails moved and all that.
So you're not a time aficionado?
No, never got involved.
Where are we with Jet Powered?
Jet Powered, like won a 2-horse race easy in was very impressive in Newbury. Look, again, he's a lot to prove yet at the same time. Like, he's a good horse, but how good is another thing. Can he step up to this level? Who knows? He's coming from good outfit. Henderson is always dangerous in the Supreme Novice. Look, you'd respect him, but like, is he priced at 6-1? Probably not. I wouldn't think so.
Have you spoke to Joe Donnelly since? First to thank him for pointing you in the right direction. Secondly, to ask him what he thought of the performance. No.
I didn't actually ask him, no. But I know they were happy with him anyway.
Okay.
I know, and I know they think that there's a lot of improvement to come from even that run. Even though there was a lot of talk about him, he intimated to me that the ease of success was slightly surprising to the trainer. But the jockey was very happy with him and gave him a good feel anyway. Gave him a feel of a good horse. So look, he was very happy with the performance. I'd say they think he's a supreme novice hurdler. And look, he'd be favoured in a normal year, wouldn't he? Like, so, you know.
Absolutely. And in a normal year, I would say Marine National would be disputing favouritism, because this is a proper horse now. I think we're going to disagree over Marine National. I think he's a proper horse. I think to do what he did, to come out of a maiden hurdle into that race at Ferriers, to miss the last, to still quicken and get up to beat Irish Point, I think he's a good horse.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt he's a good horse. And the one thing I like that he's doing is he's going to more than likely go straight to Cheltenham.
You like that?
I do from his point of view, that he's keeping the dream alive rather than going to the Dublin Racing Festival and getting his bubble bust. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
maybe.
I don't see the point in
or maybe enhancing his reputation.
But yeah, okay, but
how will we know? We'll only find out at Cheltenham.
Yeah, exactly. But that's soon enough to find out, isn't it?
Okay.
I think it is anyway.
Okay.
Like if I had a horse like Marine National, I wouldn't go near the Dublin Racing Festival anyway, because I want to go to Cheltenham, even if I'm deluded and thinking I have a chance. Do you know what I'm saying? Rather than go to, like, I'll give you an example of it. Sandra Clegane, right? Looks a smashing horse.
Yeah.
Going to the Dublin Racing Festival last year.
Yeah.
If he goes straight to Cheltenham, the people that own him are going in and saying, we've a horse here, this is a fair too. He'd have to win in back-to-back bumper, whatever he did anyway, right? He goes to Dublin Racing Festival, he gets beat 100 yards, and there's no point in even going to Cheltenham. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your bubble is burst immediately. It's easy for Mullins to bring 4 horses and run them in the race and strain them, and they come up with the right one. But if you've only one horse, you don't want to go to the Dublin Racing Festival and get beat out of sight.
No, I'm not. This is a bad example, because Barry Connell is not short of a bob or two.
Yeah.
But I've one word for you: money. Money. Would owners not want to pick up prize money?
Not the prize money is the last thing on people's minds in national hunt racing. They don't go out giving 400,000 for horses and 300,000 for stuff. They're worried about picking up 60 grand in a grade. They want, like, I guarantee if there was rosettes in Cheltenham, that'd do them. They wouldn't even need prize money. Do you know what I'm saying? I know, like, speaking to fellas like Joe, does he even worry about prize money, Joe Donnelly? Does Sheveley Park, do they worry about McManus? They don't worry about prize money.
No.
Not at all. The prize money, you can't go out and give 300,000 or 400,000 for a horse if you're thinking it's a money-making exercise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or, like, okay, they'd accept the prize money, but that's the last thing on their mind is prize money. Okay. I just think, anyway, it's so much easier for a fella like Willie Mullins to go to the Dublin Racing Festival, put 3 or 4 into one race, strain them, and next thing we have, the cream comes to the top, the best horse wins, and he's the representative in the race at Cheltenham. Yeah. Put it this way, I'll put it this way to you. If Barry Connell brought Marine National to take on Facile Vega, right? Yeah. And beat him in the Dublin Racing Festival, right? Okay. And Mullins switches another horse from the 2.5 mile. Maybe he's a really good horse in the 2.5 mile. Brings him back to 2 miles and takes Barry Connell out in Cheltenham. What would he think of that, Barry Connell?
Yeah, he'd probably be a bit disappointed.
Of course he would. Yeah. And plus he's going to have a mother and father of a hard race, taking out Facile Vega as well.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair point, well made, Johnny.
I do think that if you have a good horse, like, you want to keep the dream alive, even if you're codding yourself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That you want to go into walk through the gates and say, look, like, it's like, put this way, if you have a bumper horse that won in a bumper somewhere, just say it's Q card, whatever. You're walking in the gate, like, how many Q cards run in these bumpers? Loads of them, and most of them finish tailed off. They're nowhere, right? But you want to keep the dream alive as long as possible.
But, right, final point on this, and we've obviously gone off on tangents here, but is what you're saying right now not the main problem with jump racing? What you're saying, that it's all about the dream for Cheltenham, it's all about that dream and dreaming big and Cheltenham, is that not the problem with all the other fixtures from now until March? That people want to keep that dream alive for Cheltenham? Well,
some people might look at it completely different. They want to pick up prize money.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying to you.
Yeah, but the big owners don't want to pick up the prize money. I think that they'd want to keep the dream intact, I should say, as long as possible.
So if you own Marine National, you go straight to the Supreme?
Yeah, that's what I would do if I owned it. Just want to keep the
dream alive,
exactly. I don't see any point in going to the Dublin Racing Festival and maybe getting your bubble burst. You go to you keep him fresh for Cheltenham and keep him unbeaten and hopefully that he can do the business over there. If that's the way I'd look at it. Look, the way I look at Cheltenham anyway is, if you want to go in the gate with hope, if you have a horse like that, and if you go to Dublin Racing Festival and you get beat out of sight, you can't even go to Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean?
So how surprised would you be if Facile Vega went to Leopardstown at Christmas, went to Dublin Racing Festival, and then went to the Supreme, and Marine National beat him fair and square in the Supreme? How surprised would you be?
Yeah, well, look, I'd be getting mouth-to-mouth off of some girl anyway. That's a certainty. Absolute. Or a nurse or some description anyway.
We'll try get Jennifer Aniston for you or something like that if that happens, okay? Jennifer Aniston?
I would settle for less than Jennifer. I'd settle for her. I'll stop, will you?
You'd settle for her.
Her mother, maybe, yeah. He'd probably suit me a bit better.
You'd be surprised anyway. Okay.
I would, yeah.
Is there anything at a Hail Mary price that you fancy? What about Authorised Speed?
Look, Authorised Speed is a good horse, but he's an English good horse. You know what I'm saying? And there's a big difference in the levels, I think, isn't there? Like it looks like there is anyway. And look, he was beaten by Facile Vega last year in the bumper. That's probably the gap that's there. And I don't see any reason why he's going to close it. You know, that kind of way.
So to summarise, Facile Vega?
It's Facile Vega or have no bet, basically. Yeah, that's basically it.
So there you go. That was our quick, not so quick, longer than I thought look at the Supreme Novice Hurdle. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the picks. Yes, where myself and Johnny Dineen pick out a horse for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. And Johnny, I'd like to say it's getting easier, but it's not. It's getting harder. And when it gets hard, you've a go-to mechanism.
Yeah,
when it gets really hard, Johnny Dineen says it's too hard, so what I'm going to do is...
Make it doubly hard, yeah.
You make it doubly hard, yeah. So Johnny Dineen has another double.
Yeah.
And this week, what is it, Johnny?
The double this time is Facile Vega.
Oh, you have Facile Vega and both your doubles now.
Yeah, well, Facile Vega will be in a good few doubles by the time this show is over, I'd say.
Facile Vega, who you've already got in a double with Energymine.
Yeah.
This week,
I'm
who
putting
is
him in a
Facile
double
Vega?
this time with Sir Gerard for the 2.5 mile novice.
For the Turners?
Yes, Turners, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the reason being I go for the Turners is because he won over 2.5 mile last year, and if Mullins can pull a good horse for the Arkle,
appreciate it,
or maybe El Fabiolo or one of those horses,
yeah,
okay, then he will surely reroute this guy into 2.5. The fact that he's wore the T-shirt last year over that distance. So
and schooling reports have been very promising, I think.
Sir Gerard's point to point and everything. He's guaranteed to be a good jumper, isn't he? Like you know. And you know what I noticed about the modern day Willie Mullins horses? They're fantastic jumpers of fences and in novice chases anyway. Remember one time you fellas used to say you couldn't back a horse and they belt their way around first time out. Do you know what I mean? That's all finished with anyway. That's gone.
I'd say by all accounts he's doing more schooling with them before they get to the track now, I think.
Yeah, well, whatever, but they put in good rounds of jumping. You needn't be worried about any of them ever falling anyway. Like I know they'd get the odd faller, but rarely. Like they're normally the best jumpers in the races. If you know what I'm saying.
So Sir Gerhard is likely to be taking on Mighty Potter. Do you think he's a better horse than Mighty Potter?
Well, sure, look, he's definitely... Put it this way, last year if he ran in the Supreme Novice, he'd have been favourite, and Mighty Potter would have been 14 to 1. Do you know what I mean? So there's a bit of a gap from last year. He hasn't done much wrong since. He's only ran once since. So like it's Mighty Potter has to close the gap on Sir Gerard, not the other way around in my eyes anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like Sir Gerard would have been favoured against Constitution Hill.
Yeah.
Mighty Potter was an 8 to 1 chance in that race. Like if Sir
point.
Gerard had even gone in that race, he'd have been bigger again. So that's my reading of it anyway.
So it's the double is 5 to 4 Facile Vega and 7 to 1 Sir Gerhard for the Turners. And you think that 17 to 1 is good value?
Well, look, assuming that the first fella gets you off to a flyer, that's what you're hoping for in a situation like this, like that Facile Vega wins and you have a few nice bets going forward. You know that kind of way.
Okay, so there you go. Johnny Dineen's latest selection ahead of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. It is a double. It does include Facile Vega again, and this time he is going for Sir Gerhard in the Turners, and that double works out at a tasty 17 to 1. So there you go. I'm keeping it simple, just going for one, Johnny.
Right,
I'm just going for one. And it is in the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, and it is Sandor Clegane, a horse we've mentioned already in the show. 18 to 1 with Bet365, Sandor Clegane. Couple of things here, Johnny. He's going to go for the race, I think, anyway. Yeah. Paul Nolan immediately nominated the Albert Bartlett after the race. He's got previous in the race with Latest Exhibition, who went so close to winning the race a couple of years ago against Monkfish. I thought there was a big improvement. Now, I know he bumped into 3-Car Bragg at Galway, who's a very good horse, but I thought there was a big step up from Sandor Clegane from what he showed at Galway to what he did at Punchestown. I know the man driving the van is not all he's cracked up to be, and he did a lot wrong, but I thought from the second last to the line, I thought Sandor Clegane was very visually impressive. He looked full of running past the line. Looks like 3 miles of post, no problem.
Or zero, absolutely none.
He was a good bumper horse last year. Obviously, he bumped into Facile Vega a few times. He won his bumper impressively at Punchestown. I think he's a smart horse, and I think the further he goes, the better he's going to be. And I think Paul Nolan will have trained him that there's gradual improvement as we go along. So I'd imagine you might see him in the 2 mile 6 race at the Dublin Racing Festival, I hope. He might run over Christmas. Maybe he'll run the 3 miler at Limerick at Christmas. But I'd imagine that race, the latest exhibition one at the Dublin Racing Festival, it'll be on Paul Nolan's mind. And I think 18 to 1 about a horse that is more than likely to go for the race, that's got a bit of class, that's bumped into Facile Vega, that could be very smart, I think is a big price. So my latest tip, it is Sander Clegane, whom I'm adding to my collection for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival at 18 to 1 with Bet365. So folks, that's it for episode 6 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. Johnny Dineen. Last week we ended the show by you revealing that you were going to have this big World Cup bet that didn't quite go according to plan. Any more World Cup bets for us? We're into the semi-final stage.
The World Cup is as regards a punting medium now, it's finished as far as I'm concerned. I'll be watching it now. There's one match tonight, do another one tomorrow night. Look, I could watch it. I'd be hoping for Croatia.
Right. Any particular reason?
I like Modric, great character, great player as well. But great character as well, isn't he? Like, he comes out with his hair all over the place, and you know what I mean? He's not like Pogba doing his hair up for 3 hours before he comes out, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, like, but he's a brilliant player. He's 37 years of age, and he's still playing at the very highest level, Real Madrid, and playing like brilliantly even in the World Cup. He's fantastic. And like they're saying, do you see these fellas, like after about 17 minutes, young fellas like coming off, this fella's playing 120 minutes and he's 37 years of age.
Yeah,
you know
not a bother.
Oh, it's fantastic. And the Argies are dirty things, aren't they? Oh, they're dirty. Oh, I don't know. I don't like them at all.
Apologies to any Argentinians watching the show, of which there are plenty.
I don't like them. I didn't like their
The show does very well in Argentina, actually.
It does, yeah. But I didn't like the stuff they were doing against the Dutch the other night. I was hoping the Dutch would beat them in the finish.
Yeah.
The France-Morocco game, I couldn't care less. But like France will probably beat Morocco, more than likely.
Giroud to score first?
I wouldn't be backing him now myself. But sure, it looks like someone has to. They've only one man up front, France, so somebody has to score. Like,
he's a good man, though, isn't he?
He's a plonk. Will you stop? He's a big mullet. That's what he is. He's about 6'2" or 3". Sure, they've only one man up front. So if you're playing with a team like where Griezmann and all these fellas are putting balls on top of your head, you're bound to score at some stage. You know what I mean? You know. But look, I don't rate him as a player, and I think ultimately they could fall down because of him. But that's another day's work. I'm finished anyway as regards punting on it.
Okay, I'm giving you a free bet for the World Cup. Who wins it?
I hate to say it, Argentina.
I think Argentina will win it as well.
Yeah,
okay,
but I hope they don't. But if I got a free bet, I'd probably go with that.
So you know what a few Upping The Ante viewers are going to do this week? They're going to do a double, right? They're going to do a double. Olivier Giroud to score first and Monmoral to win at Ascot.
That's right. Yeah,
the Johnny Dineen anti-double. Okay.
Like Barry's Bismarck, only more.
Bring back Barry's Bismarck. So that's it, folks. We've had a bit of crack. Hopefully there was plenty of information along the way. He's been Johnny Dineen. I've been David Jennings. Thanks a million for watching Upping The Ante, and join us same time, same place next week.